Yo, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another World War II Zombies tutorial. Today, yes, finally, I am walking you guys through the casual Easter egg. I know I'm a little late to the party, but I wanted to make sure that I did this right. It's the first Easter egg tutorial I've actually ever made or put up on the channel, so I wanted to ensure that it was step by step, pretty thorough for you guys. Please, if you're new to the channel, let me know by dropping a like on this video if it's helped you at all in any way, and if it's done well, please go ahead and feel free to drop a comment below. And without further ado, guys, let's just jump straight into this thing. Now, I just want to start by saying this Easter egg is very, very easy, guys. And if you ever get lost, you can always check your progress by hitting your motion pad or your options pad right in the center of your controller. It'll give you a list of what your current thing is, and it also shows you locations on the map that you need to be looking at. So, very interesting that Sledgehammer went ahead and did this to their Easter egg. But the first thing you're going to want to do is come outside of spawn and run up to the generator. And if you see, there'll be 3 orange cords popping out. That's going to take you to 3 different valve locations, and what those do, they help you turn on the trap in the center right outside of the bunker, and that's how you're going to be able to get the power turned on to power the bunker door. As soon as you do that, you're going to run up to the center of the map of the spawn area, and there's going to be a pilot trap. You're going to go ahead and hold square on the pilot trap, and that's going to burst the floor into flames, as well as spawn a bunch of pest zombies that are lit on fire. You're going to want to take the pest zombies out really quick. I recommend meleeing them to get some additional points, and then as soon as you're done with that, you will jump down into the hole, and right by the stamina machine, you'll see a little path that you can walk up. You're going to walk up that path, and just to your left, there's going to be another generator. Run up to that generator, hold square on that, and that is how you will activate the power on the entire map to open all the electrically sealed doors. So next, what you're going to want to do is run down into the bunker. You're going to open the bunker door, run all the way down, and just when you come down to your right, you'll head straight in front of you. You'll see this crank sitting on the side of like a pyramid looking device. You need to run up to that crank and hold square on it until the button turns green, and you'll notice as you hold it, the device begins to open, which will expose these wires coming from underneath the ground, which we will get to later. So next, the idea is going to be just to stack up points. You're going to need to save up about 4,500 points to open the next 3 doors. Now you can go ahead and do 3,000, open the first 2 doors, and then move on to the next one, but pretty much you'll have to open both sides of the map right here, including the morgue and the laboratory area. Now, when you go through the morgue, you'll run straight down into the office where you'll see there's a bunch of research going on. And just past that room, there's going to be a dial on the wall. It's going to be flipped to the red side, which is off, obviously. You're going to need to turn it to on. Now, after you turn this one to on, you have to run to the opposite side of the map, into the laboratory area. And once you get into the laboratory area, you have to find the additional switch that looks identical to the one you flipped in the morgue. You can see I sped up the gameplay here just so you guys can see the exact pathway I took to get from side to side, but it's not too difficult to find. It's upstairs where you normally would go by the armor machine, and once you go up the stairs by the pack-a-punch tunnel, it is right in front of you. You'll run over to that device, go ahead and flip it to green as well. The power will be turned on to the salt mine doors, and then you can run down and open up the salt mine in the command center. So the next thing you're going to want to do is run back into the command room, open up that salt mine door that you just put power to, and you're going to need to run down into the bottom. Now be careful when you enter this room, there are going to be zombies with nukes on their back. You can do one of 2 things. I like to use them for another step of the hardcore Easter egg, or you can just either kill them all or shoot the bombs off their back and use them for the powering of the hilt. But pretty much you'll run down to the basement, run straight up in front of you. You'll see this big device with a sword inside of it and a power device in front of it. Hold square on that and it will activate the hilt. Now what that does is it puts this red ring in the middle of the room. As you can see on the ground right here, there's this big red ring around the whole entire circle of the hilt, and you need to kill zombies inside of that circle, and it's pretty much like a soul box. So you will kill zombies and keep killing zombies until you will see right here there will be this red flash on the screen. Now once you do that, you know that the hilt has been completely powered, and you can then move on to the very next step of the Easter egg. What you want to do next is run back into the command room. You'll see this button right next to the Tesla table that has turned green. Run up to that button and push square on it. And what that does is that again activates the device to become a soul box, and you'll have to follow it between both sides of the map, just like when you turn on the power switch, killing zombies within that red circle. Now, as you can see here, when you shoot zombies within the circle, their souls are going to be collected straight into the device and is going to continue to move a path into the laboratory to begin. Now, you do not have to kill these souls while the device is stopped. You can kill these zombies within the circle as long as they're inside of the circle and the device is moving. That is okay. As long as you are killing them with inside of the red circle, they will count and it will move along its path. Now it does take 15 zombies, I counted it out, to do the laboratory side. So once you start killing and you know you've gotten to 15, I recommend stopping because you don't need any more souls and you're really just wasting zombies at that point. If you can keep a nice train going, then you can utilize that same group of zombies to move on into your next room, which will be the morgue. Now once you go ahead and let it go all the way down its path, it'll make its way to a generator at the end of the laboratory area, and as soon as you kill the last zombie, as you see here, it will go inside of the machine and it will start to pound and pound and pound like it's activated. Once that is complete, it will spit out your Tesla barrel. So you'll see it's still pounding away, doing its thing. And then once the room gets light back to it, like energy has been provided back to the laboratory area, you can run back up to the machine, pick up the barrel to the Tesla gun, and the device will begin to move back into the command center. Now, like I said, I like to train my zombies and try to bring as many as I can back into the command center because as soon as the device, the Gershcraft device, gets back into the command area, it's going to activate the next step of the Easter egg on your screen, which is defend and kill zombies within the circle again. And instead, this time you'll be going into the morgue area. Now, for some reason, I feel like this area is a lot faster than going into the laboratory. I think that it takes less zombies. I haven't done the count on this side, but I'm pretty sure that it's 15 on each side. So keep continuing to kill zombies within the circle, injecting their souls into the Gershcraft device, and it will in turn power up the device and move it along its path again into the morgue, which will go into that big vat of orange goo at the end. Once you get into that vat, it'll start to spin and it'll pump the vat down through the machine, and eventually it'll turn spit out the battery portion of the Tesla gun, and you will run up to the machine just like you did on the other side, pick that up, and you are ready to head back to the command room and build the actual Tesla gun. Now, once you get back into the command room, this is where the Easter egg gets a little interesting because a Brenner zombie is going to spawn in. Now, what this is a zombie with like a flamethrower on his back and two tanks, and he just runs at you full force. It kind of reminds me of a Panzer. I wouldn't say it's as strong as a Panzer, but the hit markers and the way that you kill this guy is definitely very, very similar to Panzers. So, what I recommend is having your free fire ready and just lay into him. Activate free fire. You can just lay into him, hit his tanks. As soon as you shoot his tanks, they explode. He is gonna die. Then you can just go for headshots until he actually falls and his head falls off. So once you kill him, pick up his head. I always recommend running it back into the laboratory or the command room area because you're gonna need to use that head later on in the Easter egg. And as long as you have it in a space where you can easily find it and it's easy accessible, it makes things a whole lot easier. Now, once you place the Brenner head down, you need to run up the stairs, and just in the center of the upstairs portion by the command post, there's another device right in front of you, and it's where you would build the actual Tesla gun. Run up to the machine, and it should have the Gershcraft device already in it at this point. Hold square on it, and it will put the pieces down and actually start to spin and generate energy to craft your Tesla gun. Now, you don't need to grab it right away, but you will need it for the Easter egg to complete it, so I just recommend if you don't want it, that's fine, but it is pretty useful throughout the Easter egg to kind of keep you alive and stall zombies and things of that nature. So I recommend picking it up and then moving forward with the next steps. So now your next step is to run back into the hilt room or the ritual room, whichever you would like to call it, and run up to the right hand of God. Now that's going to be on the left side of the room. It's going to be like looking in a mirror, guys. So opposite of the way you walk into the room is going to be how the hands are structured. Now, after you do that, you need to run back into the command room, and there will be a panel opposite where you built the Tesla gun, and it will have the ability to push square on it. When you hit square, it's going to have 4 colors. Now, you need to memorize what color goes with which number because there are 4 panels located around the map. Now, these could be red, green, as mine was. It could be red, red, blue, blue. There's all different combinations. So just memorize what your combination is in your game, and you will have to activate the panels in order the way that the colors are situated. Now the panel will not open if you do not have the proper color in, so make sure that you know what color it is. And once you press that panel, it is a fairly timed, and you have a fairly quickly amount of time to do it. So you need to run through the map pretty quick. And if you look in the next clip, it'll have my path, which I believe is the fastest path to get to all of them. The first one is located in the command area. After that, you will run through the sewers, which if you go to spawn, jump down the hole, there will be a door, and two will be located directly in front of you. After that, you can run through Pack-a-Punch, and once you run through Pack-a-Punch, head towards the docks. There will be three on the wall just exiting that room. And then the fourth one is over by Double Tap, so that's just a full sprint over to the pub area, run up from the bottom is the way I like to take, and it's right in front of the room you need to go to until you activate the electric tower. Now once you power all these up, it'll give you power to the electrical tower at the end of the bridge, and you will have to go down there, and that will be your next step, which is to defend the tower. All you have to do is run up, hold square on the lever in front of you across the bridge, and it will activate a health bar. Now the health bar I wouldn't worry too much about. This is a fairly easy thing to do for the first one. On solo it can be a little hectic in this room, so I recommend having your Tesla gun, because that way you can at least freeze the zombies and they will not be attacking you the entire time. But most of the zombies will head over to the device and try to destroy it. You cannot let them destroy it. If you let them destroy it, you have to do it all over again, start from scratch, which really sucks, and it'll eat up rounds, guys. This part eats up rounds. You'll go at least 2 rounds doing this if you're not careful about how you killed the zombie. So be careful and just defend. For the first one, you can really just leave it alone for the most part. Once it hits about low yellow to red is when I decide to start shooting for most of the time. The first one's fairly easy. Once you move on to the next step of defending the two, it can be much harder. And you'll see that next. Now for the next step, it can be a little tricky because you have to defend both the right and left side of the tower. You have to activate them both at the same time, and they'll both have a health bar. Now what I do is I typically just train the square. Makes it a little bit easier to do, but it can get pretty hectic, so I recommend just having your Tesla gun ready. Stall the zombies down as much as you can, and do not let them break it, because you will have to start all over. But as soon as you finish this defense, which is fairly easy to do if you do it the right way, you'll get this big flash of lightning on your screen, and you'll know that it's done. You will also get a prompt in the corner saying to move on to your next step. So now guys, you'll have to run back into the salt mine. Now this is something you will do frequently throughout the Easter egg. Everything you need to power is in the salt mine, so you'll be utilizing that room and the rest of the map often. Now once you get back down into the bottom, you will go ahead and activate the right hand of God. You can actually activate it now. It'll tell you to immediately activate the left hand of God, but once you run over to it, you'll notice that you cannot hold square on it. Now this is because it'll tell you to check the commotion in the square, and what happens is a Zeppelin spawns in. Now the Zeppelin holds 4 sockets that have lights on them. Each one of those is a power generator that will drop a battery from the sky that you will need to fill, just like you did before with zombie souls. Now zombies generate power for everything that Dr. Straub has created. He utilizes them for just about anything to give it power or to provide energy, whatever the case may be. So what you'll need to do is get a pretty heavy weapon. As you guys see, I have the Bren. When I do it, it does shoot them down a lot faster than anything else that I've used. I don't really like the Bren. It's not my favorite gun in World War II, that's for sure, but it does work very well for this step. So if you can get it out of the box, great. If not, a LMG, anything of that nature would work perfectly fine in this situation. But run out to the square, run around until you can see the Zeppelin opening and closing those 4 slots, and just focus on one until it becomes red. Now once it becomes red, it will drop an energy power cell out of the sky. It'll fall somewhere on the map, typically where you shot it down at. It'll be in that general vicinity. So run over to the area where it blew up at, and it'll fall. You'll see it on the ground with another red circle, just like every other power thing. And this map is just a giant soul box, guys. Every step is a giant soul box step, and you'll need to fill these batteries up with energy. Now you'll have to do this for 3 different times, 3 different batteries. I'm not going to show you each step, but you will have to do this 3 times. So just know once you get each battery, you'll have to run it down into the hilt room, which I will show you what it looks like right now. Now you can see right here, once the battery is unlocked, the device pretty much explodes, and there'll be only a single battery sitting on the floor. All you have to do with this is you pick it up, and now it will make you run slower. So I recommend having stamina up, or whatever the equivalent to stamina up in World War II zombies is. You can find it in the sewers, and that at least gives you the ability to run infinitely, so you don't have to stop every so often, because the zombies, especially if you're on round 10 or above, will catch you, they will hit you, and they will take your armor away. So just be careful when you pick up this battery because it does make you run a lot slower than you normally would. Now you'll just run this back down into the salt mine area and place it into the left hand of God, which is on the right hand side. Once you get into the salt mine, you will have force spawn zombies, so be careful. If you have to drop the battery and pick it back up, that's completely fine. Just be careful because again it does make you move very, very slowly. Now before I move forward past the Zeppelin step, because like I said, I don't want to show you guys all three of them because it's really monotonous. It's the same thing over and over again. You shoot down the Zeppelin, you get the energy cell, you fill it up, you run the battery back into the left hand of God. But the third time you do it, I do want to mention that the Zeppelin is going to troll you. It is going to shoot down an energy battery. You're going to go like you're going to fill it up, and it's going to suck it right back up. It's going to shoot it back with the electric pulse, and it's going to pull it back into the Zeppelin, and it's going to troll you, and you're going to be very upset about this. But it's supposed to do that. It does it every time, even in the boss fight. It does it for the third one. So just be sure that you know the third time that you're shooting the Zeppelin down, you have to do it twice. So conserve ammo, be ready for it. I just wanted to mention that I do show it here so you guys can actually see what it looks like happening, but that is supposed to happen the third time. You do have to shoot it down twice. Just wanted to mention that before we move forward. Now once you put the third battery inside the left hand of God, you'll be able to move on to the final step of the Easter egg, which is activating the voice of God. Now to do this, all you have to do is pick up the Brenner head that I told you you'd need earlier in this tutorial and run to 4 different paintings located on the map. One is located outside of the laboratory upstairs in the snow. The second is located in the sewer next to the Pack-a-Punch machine. The third is located in the morgue just downstairs behind the vat of goo that you got the Tesla gun part for, and the fourth one will be located in the pub just opposite of the double tap machine. When you get to each painting, you'll need to shine the light holding your left trigger from the Brenner head on the painting, and it will reveal a raven symbol as well as a Roman numeral. Now all you have to do is write this down, guys. Trust me, it'll be a lot easier if you write it down, but make sure you have the correct corresponding raven with the correct Roman numeral, and you'll see when you get back into the salt mine, there will be the same symbols on the center machine with a number dial underneath it. All you have to do is hold square and change the number to the Roman numeral that you've seen on the paintings, and if you correlate them correctly, you'll be able to hold square on the button and it'll activate a noise saying, hey, this noise is getting louder, and that means you've done the code correctly and you are now ready to enter the boss fight. Now if you hold square on the machine and it says machine resetting, that means that you've entered your numbers incorrectly and you'll need to go check your paintings again just to be sure that you have everything written down correctly. Now once you have it done correctly, the last step of the Easter egg is to shoot the hilt with your Tesla gun. Once you shoot the hilt with your Tesla gun, it will free that energy orb around the actual hilt device. You'll be able to remove it from the hilt, and then you'll go into the casual boss fight. Now once this is done correctly, you'll see a point of no return. Certain objectives will be unavailable after freeing the Emperor's hilt. Choose wisely. Now once you see that, be careful, because if you do go on further, you won't be able to do anything else, go to the hardcore Easter egg, so on and so forth. But if you're doing the casual quest like we're doing here, you're just fine. Now once you've picked up the hilt, it'll take you directly into the boss fight. You'll get a cutscene and then you'll be entered into the arena. Now this boss fight is very, very easy, guys. As long as you train the map, you will be just fine. Now the objective here is to again shoot down the Zeppelin. You'll see the Zeppelin will spawn in and you'll be able to shoot it down again. It'll open all 4 of its slots. Focus on one. If you have a partner, if you guys both focus on the same one, it'll drop a lot faster, but you're pretty much going to shoot down those energy cells again and then fill them once again with zombie souls. Now while you're shooting the Zeppelin down, you won't have to worry about too many zombies. It'll be the Panzer Mortar, which is the main boss, and it'll probably have 2-3 zombies max running around the map. So if you train the full map, keep the Panzer in your sights or behind you, you'll be just fine. Take down the Zeppelin. Now once you shoot the Zeppelin battery, it'll only spawn in the area of where the spawn pilot trap is at. Once you get that down, a ton of zombies will begin to spawn in. You'll be able to murder all the zombies around the machine, fill up the device, and it will drop a battery out just like it did in the previous game or in the previous area when you did this step. Now, once that is complete and the battery is on the floor, your objective is to stun the Panzer Mortar. Now, all you really have to do is, if you have Tesla guns, everybody spam their Tesla guns on them. Pack-a-punch weaponry if you have stronger weapons. I've known people that have actually done this with the Red Talon, which I did not describe how to get, but if you know how to get the Red Talon, that's a great weapon to do this with. As long as you're training the Panzer and running behind him, he will not hit you, you'll be fine. But pretty much spam the Panzer mortar. Now, once he gets stunned, the screen will tell you. It'll say the Panzer mortar is stunned. All you have to do is pick up the battery, run up to him, and place it in. Now, you have to do this fairly quickly, guys. He does get up pretty fast, so I recommend, especially if you have two people doing this, one person spam him, one person carry the battery around, or have the battery nearby where you're shooting him, so the second he gets stunned, you can run up to it and not have to run a very far distance to him, because again, the battery does slow you down once you pick it up. And place the battery within him. You'll see a big flash of white on the screen. It'll explode, killing everything around it, and then you will be able to move on to the next step. Now, every time you place a battery inside the Panzer mortar, he will despawn. He'll walk outside of the map, and it's timed. We used to think it was rounds. We used to think that you had to kill all the zombies that were spawning in. This is not the case. It is a timed frame that you'll be able to have him come back into the map and be able to shoot the Zeppelin down again. Now, if you're playing it solo, or you're not going for any of the hidden challenges, I recommend just killing off all the zombies, because when the Zeppelin spawns in, it's way easier to shoot it down with, obviously, without a lot of zombies training around and chasing you. So this way you can focus on the Zeppelin, get the second battery down. You will get another spawn of zombies in, and you will do this for 3 times, just like any other boss fight. After the third time, you'll be done, and it'll go straight into the final cutscene. The screen will flash white, cutscene will begin to play, and you have completed the final Easter egg, guys. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Please drop a like on the video if this has helped you in any shape, way, or form. Again, this was my first Easter egg tutorial I've ever put on. I know it may be a little rough around the edges, but I thank you guys for coming out and showing support to the channel. If you're new around here, please subscribe. We will be covering all World War II zombies material coming up with DLC 1 and any kind of news facts that I find, and of course great live streams. Thank you guys again so much for coming out, and as always, stay swaggy, my friends.